First, Ali and Jason, this is fabulous having another accelerator. We've got great accelerators all over the province. I'm just going to add to it. Mayor Stewart, thank you for having us in your city, and Brent as well, Councillor Redundson. And I have with me, where is my colleague, Linda Reimer, MLA, for just slightly east of here. We got the invite, and Linda insisted, of course, that I be here in her neck of the woods, and so we jumped on a heli jet and came straight here. But it's so important for me to be involved with the tech sector. I count myself as the chief cheerleader for the tech sector. Let me tell you a funny story. I was with Darren Entwistle, as the CEO of TELUS, and they opened up TELUS Gardens downtown. Fabulous, fabulous location. And I said that I was a chief cheerleader for the tech sector, and a few days later a box showed up, a really box, and there was a present. I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't really take gifts as a minister, and opened it up, and it were a couple of pom-poms. So let's talk tech here, folks. Let's start at the highest level, where we have been a natural resource province for 140 years. That has been the basis of, we've been the hewers of wood, we've been the diggers of coal and mining and steel and everything else that comes from here. But as you've seen, we have diversified as well. And what's made us strong as a province, and you'll see the economic forecast across Canada that BC is expected to take the lead in all of Canada. We are the breadbasket of the country. We will be providing the tax sources for the federal government. Alberta's going to be about $6 billion in debt this year, but we will be the #1 province in many, many, many ways. Why? Because we've diversified from natural resources to agriculture, to forestry, to mining, and technology. So as of today, I got my latest count today, we have 9,738 tech companies in BC. That's today's count. That's you guys. In terms of numbers, we have about 87,000 families that owe their living to technology. That's one heck of a number in this province, and that's what makes us strong. In terms of growth, the tech industry has grown twice the size of any sector in British Columbia. And I look at it that it's this industry that's going to future-proof BC. It's a symbiotic relationship. I had a reporter that came to me, isn't this great that the tech sector is doing wonderful, we'll get away with that dirty natural resource sector. And I came a little unglued. I used to work in a mill in order to go through university. That's how I got here. A lot of our family started that. It's a symbiotic relationship where technology and natural resources is symbiotic. Each begets the other. A young man up in Prince George prints on a 3D printer an unmanned aerial vehicle about 6 feet wide, and he does geodata mapping for a mining company using a 3D printer made UAV at home. It's the gaming software that is used by a mining company how to figure out how to take trucks from the bottom of a mine all the way up. It's gaming software. You see how it's so connected. It's a symbiotic relationship, and that continues. So here's what's happening in the province in terms of tech is, first of all, as a province, the Premier has assigned me and has huge faith and respect for the industry that this is future-proofing British Columbia, that this is the economic diversification engine for British Columbia. So I'm doing a very robust tech strategy. It's going to be announced most likely in November. And here's what I've heard from the tech sector. I have talked to big to small. I just came back from the Valley Tuesday. I was sitting with Jeff Mallett, the Vice President of Yahoo, coincidentally co-owner of New York Giants, and what else? He owns, Greg, half of the Whitecaps as well, and a soccer team in London. And he is a Victoria boy. He's a BC boy. So I met so many individuals in California, in the Valley, that were proud Canadians. There's a club called C100, many of you heard of them. They're proud Canadians, but they're really flowing capital back and forth now. There's an excitement starting in BC. Even in the last year, there's a change. But here's what the industry's told me. For the young entrepreneurs starting out, they've told me that there's a lack of capital. There's a lot of companies that die on the vine for lack of capital, whether that's angel or venture capital. So in my tech strategy, that's one thing that I'm going to address, is look at venture capital and access to capital for young companies. The mid-level are doing relatively well in getting Series A, Series B elsewhere, but the small ones are not. The next kind of companies is great kind of people saying, help me with talent. I need the right people. That's what he's telling me. That's what Ryan Holmes and from Hootsuite is saying. That's what Matthew Schweitzer, the CFO, is saying. I need talent. So we're working on the talent. The talent is multi-pronged. First of all, we need to encourage more men and women, it's got to be more gender neutral, to encourage them to take tech early on. So we've got to have a long-term strategy starting in elementary school. We're going to have a strategy in high school, but in the universities, we're taking a quarter of our funding to the universities and saying, you must graduate the jobs in demand. No more, here's a pot of money, graduate whoever, and you graduate the wrong people. You must graduate science, technology, engineering, math, and those kind of grads that are needed in society. You must do this. We're doing that. And then people like Gregor always tell me too, I may have an expert that I need tomorrow, and she is in Switzerland or in the Valley. I need a provincial nominee program and an immigration system that gets them here. The American immigration system is broken. The H-1B program there is broken. Ours is not. So we're working on making that a little bit better as well, and we prioritize those jobs that are multipliers, 5x, 6x. When you bring the right engineer in, we need 6 other people to help him or her out. We're working on that as well. What you also told me is that government procurement needs to be fixed. You know, we buy billions worth of products to serve British Columbians, and yet a tech company has a heck of a time selling to government. We have seen the enemy, and she is us. So we need to fix that as well. How do we do that? So that's also going to be part of my strategy. So we're planning a large tech conference January 18, 19th. We're going to take over the convention center, hashtag BC Tech. Bring in the best speakers, bring in employers, bring in venture capital, have job fair where you can match up companies and prospective new employees, bring in pitch competitions, bring in an opportunity where you have BC tech companies, and I want to bring in all the purchasers from government and meet them with the tech companies so they can connect with each other and see what opportunities there are. And we want to do that in a big way because tech is once again the future economic diversification engine of government. So the future is absolutely bright. I am committed, the Premier is committed, my colleagues are all supporting this strategy. We want to take this from 86,000 jobs. My marching orders always have homework assignments, just like you guys went to school, I went to school, you had homework. So I have a homework assignment from the Premier, we all do. But I've got to take it from 86,000 to 120,000, or you're out of there. So that's my homework. When I was down in the Valley, talked to a couple of VC, they said, you've set your sights too short. You should say you're going to go to from 86,000 to 120 to 200,000 employees in the sector. So I've taken that challenge up from my colleagues from the Valley, says you're selling your guys self short. So incredible opportunities. There are so many people that are looking at this. I mean, and with just an example who's here. Sony ImageWorks came here. We were able to offer them a great number of incentives, 750 there, and go to 1,000 employees. So when you watch a movie, it's filmed in a blue room, but it's all data, it's all techniques, it's all digital, it's done all here. Who watched American Sniper? It's all done here. Half the other movies are all done here, the digital work behind it. Microsoft is going to open up an office as well, about 1,000 employees coming. That creates an incredible critical mass. Whether that's Twitter, the TED Talks, Animal Logic from Australia is showing up here. And they're in the digital space as well too. They want to set up here. And they're coming because they're saying is we got stable government, we have the lowest corporate taxes, not in Canada, but in North America. We're at 26% corporate taxes if you take federal and provincial combined. If you go to California, I think it's about 44%. That's what makes it successful. No. Like the They love the scenery, they love where we live, the fact that we have great 25 excellent universities here. They love that fact. You put that all together, and we're 2 hours from boardroom to boardroom from the valley to here. That's another positive. So we have a huge homegrown talent like Greg. We have the Hootsuits of the world, we have the EAs of the world, we have a number of others. You know, all the way from clean tech to wireless to ICT to life sciences. We have them all here in our space. So very, very exciting opportunities, and I see a lot of young people, a lot of opportunities for you in a wide variety of technical spaces. So the future is bright. I am and I remain at your service, and I remain as your chief cheerleader, minus the legs. Thank you very much.